We're talking Hawks. I'm Hayden Spratlin.
And I'm Eli Brando.
Welcome to the week-long celebration of Eli Week, the first annual for JayhawkJukebox. And today we're going to be talking about our songs of the week. So I had Gimme Shelter by the Rolling Stones. And you
Classic. I had 90 Proof featuring J. Cole by Smino.
Two very different songs, two very good songs. One obviously like a 70s Vietnam era, like anti-Vietnam, because there's some things about Vietnam that weren't so cool. And then one about, well, what's 90 Proof about, man?
It's about alcohol. It's also about struggling with relationships, and it's just a good song. The refrain of the track is like, not too good at relationships, but at least I try. It's not really about any one thing. It just jumps from topic to topic, and it's a good vibe.
Yeah, I noticed the beat, the soul production. Dude, it's a deep production.
Yeah.
There's so many layers. The depth of it's great. You can just listen. I mean, I only listened to it a few times whenever you told me that it was your song, but I mean, every time I listened, I heard a new either voice in the chorus, I heard a new drum pattern or something like that. It's crazy. And then the beat switch with J. Cole actually made me not completely hate J. Cole for about 5 seconds. It reminded me of like Dreamville days almost.
I'm not a huge J. Cole fan, but when he has a good verse, it's pretty good. And I like this one a lot. When he's saying like, you'll never see me, I'll lay low in Los Angeles, I might as well be in Canada. Like, I like lines like that.
Yeah. And Smino too. We were kind of talking about
Smino's
this earlier, but he kind of sounds like Jid a little bit with like the way he inflects his voice.
But more melodic.
Yeah, exactly. Jid's a little more harsh and a little more wordy. But yeah.
I like the hook of it a lot. It's just catchy. It's
Really?
a good vibe. Yeah.
And aren't Smino and Denzel cousins?
They
Something
are,
like
yeah.
that. I thought I saw that on Instagram, so I wanted to verify it with a true source here.
Yeah. I'm a close friend of both.
Yeah, exactly.
They found out like at some party that they have an uncle in common.
Like the uncle is common?
No,
or the uncle in
yeah.
common. Okay.
Yeah, they have an uncle in common. But it's weird because Denzel's a Miami local, but Smino's getting some of that Midwest hip hop representation
Where's he
out
from?
there. He's from St. Louis, Missouri.
St. Louis.
Yeah.
Wow, the first good thing to come out of St. Louis.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Midwest rap. I mean, we've got Freddie Gibbs. We have Smino.
Tech Nine.
We have the
Eminem.
Tech Nine, who has a song with Lil Wayne, by the way.
Yeah.
Eminem.
Janelle Monáe is more pop, but she does hip hop.
And then
Amazing.
Potentially not as good figure now, but the Kanye West was also from Chicago.
Bone Thugs and Harmony too.
That's a good shout.
That's actually
a good shout.
Smino reminds me a lot of like Bone Thugs and Harmony, the way he like flows and like the melodic hooks that he does.
Sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's been the song of the week from Eli and Hayden, and next they're going to be talking about the music beefs. Thank you.
Walking alone in a college town can be dangerous, no matter the time of day. Lawrence might seem like a small town, but there is still tons of crime that happens. You never know where and or when people are planning to attack, so it is better to be safe than sorry. Being by yourself is never the answer. That's why people should always walk within a buddy system. Having at least 3 people to walk with can help with getting home safer. Going out in a bigger group is definitely the way to go, so everyone can be assured they are safe. If walking home isn't an option, calling KU Safe Ride is the next best option, or ordering an Uber with your friends. Stay safe and always keep a buddy with you.
Welcome back to Eli Week. I'm Kit,
I'm Eli.
and today we're going to be talking about some different hip-hop beefs. This is a new segment that we're going to try out. I'm taking over this week. At some point, it'll be Eli's turn, but today we're going to be talking about the beef between Beastie Boys and Third Base, because this is a topic I know a lot about, and my favorite song of all time came out of this beef. So I guess we're going to start with the backgrounds. So basically, Third Base, which is MC Serch and Pete Nice, were looking to be signed by Def Jam. So they had met with Russell Simmons, who basically, in an attempt to get rid of Serch after he had come into his office, told him to go to Mike D's house from Beastie Boys to get some advice or whatever. And I really think literally the only commonality is that both Third Base and Beastie Boys are white and Jewish from New York. So when he got to Mike's house, Mike and Sean Karasov, a.k.a. the captain, a.k.a. their tour manager, a.k.a. their like bestie, were really, really, really high. And like normal. So when Serch got there and rang the doorbell, Mike and the captain just kind of like started throwing trash out their window at him. But to clarify, in a chapter of Beastie Boys' book titled Clear the Air, Mike says that they didn't even realize that it was him and that they would have thrown trash at literally anyone who had come and knock on their door.
Nice.
So obviously though, Serch took great offense to that, and after the Beastie Boys moved from Def Jam to Capitol Records and Third Base was signed by Def Jam, they released their diss track on the Beastie Boys in 1989. Mind you, this was 2 years after this event had even occurred. So like this happened in like 1987 and they released the song in 1989. They basically called them out for being nepotism babies, which is only kind of half true. And they said pretty much like a whole lot of nothing because like they didn't think that they were ever going to respond. So they were like, yeah, we'll just, throw this out there. And then fast forward 3 years later when the Beastie Boys released their third album, Check Your Head, on a track that is seemingly forgettable. It's literally like at the very end of the album, sandwiched in between a joke song and an instrumental. On the last verse of Professor Booty is a diss to MC Serch. It's not even the whole song, just one verse, because that's all Adam Yauch needed to shut it down. But then I also said it's funny because MC Serch most definitely thought he had gotten away with it, which is why he went in as hard as he did. And also, the Beastie Boys don't really even like this song because they didn't think it was anything special. And they've also only performed it 5 times. And that's it. So, yeah.
So is Professor Booty your favorite Beastie Boys song then?
It is.
Really?
Yes.
Not something off of License to Ill?
No, I don't like that album.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the only one I've listened to all the way through.
Yeah.
I'm actually a diehard Third Base fan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that they have a lot more staying power than Beastie Boys.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Let's talk about the songs now. Mm-hmm. What did you think of both
I
of
thought
them?
Third Base one wasn't as good as Professor Booty for sure. Professor Booty was kind of a banger, but
I know that's right.
yeah, I didn't love either of them. They were both good. I think Beastie Boys has better music in their roster, and of course, Third Base has classics throughout their discography.
Hip hop legends, Third Base.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
One of the greats.
So I guess, in my opinion, obviously I'm gonna think that Beastie Boys are better because, well, I care about them a lot more. But when I heard Sons of Third Base for the first time, I was kind of like digging like the background, like the instrumental is pretty good. It's very classically like that very early 90s, like that weird transition period between
Where it was
like
just, like drum and bass.
yeah,
type
drum and
hip-hop.
bass, like sampling. It's good.
And the way he flows is very 1989.
Yes,
hip-hop,
it's very much like it reminds me of like an MC Hammer song.
Yeah.
Or like
Wheels on the Bus.
Yes.
Yeah.
My name's Lane, I'm here to say that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like obviously like with Check Your Head, that album kind of like changed how hip hop.
Is it the Beastie Boys album?
Yes.
Okay.
That album like changed like how like they've all the instruments or the instrumentals on that album are all made by them. It's them playing the bass, playing the guitar, playing the drums, all that. Mm-hmm. So it's very different than the whole sound. And like we had said, they came from 2 very different points in like the timeline of hip hop, because like you can very clearly know hip hop based on the eras, if you would agree.
Yeah, totally.
Like, so like definitely it's more like one sounds very distinct, the other one sounds very distinct in a different way. And yeah.
You think the Beastie Boys and the third bass track are like distinct in the eras? 'Cause
Yeah.
They both seem very like 80s. I know the Beastie Boys track came out in 92, but they
Yeah.
still have like a very like late 80s hip hop vibe to me.
Yeah.
Even though Beastie Boys is definitely like
90s to me.
yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of their stuff is 90s.
Yeah.
But it just reminds me of 80s music, and they are in a league of their own. Like, they do sound very different from what was coming out at the time.
Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, like like I said, I would say that like, because like you had mentioned, third bass, very drum and bass, 80s, 808 drum, like, SP12 sampler machine.
Mm-hmm.
But like the Beastie Boys are like sitting in a studio playing their drums, whatnot. And I just think that like, to me, I understand that like making, stuff with machines is already difficult, but I feel like in order to be cohesive as, a band, to actually be able to sit there and play your instruments, I feel like that is a higher testament.
It adds a new level
Exactly.
to what you're doing.
Yeah, so that's basically that for this week's. We haven't officially come up with a title of this segment yet.
Rap beefs.
Rap beef, sure. That's that for that, and we will see you back here, the two of us, plus Hayden, in a few minutes. But right now, Hayden is going to do the weekly forecast.
Sounds like fun. I'm Elijah Brando.
I like this new generation of music.
And if you can't find me, to the western.
Oh God, it's all toilet sounds.
Do you feel like you are constantly coughing? Or always reaching for the tissues? Or maybe you have a headache that just won't go away no matter what you try? Did one of your favorite hobbies become an empty pastime? Are you constantly exhausted and wanting to sleep all day?
What's Hawkin' Hawks? I'm back with another weekly forecast for live music, and actually this one's going to be a bit shorter because I was trying to find things going on next week for Thanksgiving break, and shocker, there's not a whole lot going on because we live in a college town, and when the students are gone, the population goes down a lot, so whoop-de-doop-de. So anyways, tonight at the Bottleneck, we have Dumo, which is a Ugandan duo that does industrial grindcore and noise. Y'all, the genre is noise. I didn't believe it, and then I heard it. They got a song called Lion's Blood, and it just sounds like a dude yelling into the mic while like people are getting murdered behind him. It's kind of sick. And their album covers are also kind of vulgar. So if you look them up, just like yeah, it's kind of scary. Then tomorrow on Friday we have Mavis Staples at the Lead Center. Oh, also that Duma show is going to be about $15 tonight at the Bottleneck. And then tomorrow at the Lead Center, we have Mavis Staples, and her cheapest ticket's going to run about $19 if you got a student or a youth ticket. Mavis Staples was like a really popular R&B, soul, and blues singer with the Staples Singers in like the 50s and 60s. They actually have some bangers. I was listening to her early today. She's got a really strong, powerful voice, a lot of texture. That's something I read too, is like as she's gotten older, her career's been really long. She started singing when she was like 17 with her family, and she's 80 something now. So yeah, she's really good, really powerful singer, like blues, R&B, stuff like that, really good. Then y'all, Saturday, once in a lifetime opportunity at the Granada, Shrek Rave. Hear me out. It's a Shrek themed rave. You can go out and party with your other Shrek fellas, Shrek friends. Even Lord Farquaad's probably going to make an appearance. I don't know. But that's going to run you about $30, even though it's right after Halloween. I know it sucks, but you can dress up like Shrek again and have an excuse. So, Sunday, open Irish Jam. Guys, we're back at it. I don't know how to do an Irish jig yet. I still need to learn. It'd probably help a lot. But that's going to be at the Caw Valley Public House anytime from 3 to 6 on Sunday, apologies. And then on Monday, we have open mic night yet again. I think this is the 3rd week in a row. It happens every Monday at the Caw Valley Public House. You know what's happening. But yeah, that's been this week's live weekly forecast. Have a good Thanksgiving break, and I'll see you guys on the next segment.
Hello, I'm Elijah Brando, and today, Kit and Alexandria are going to be asking people what the silliest song they know is. Sounds like fun.
For a transition.
Happy Eli Week, everyone! Happy Eli Week edition of JayhawkJukebox. Slay!
Rattling Bog, but by the Wiggles. The affirmation song by Snoop Dogg.
That's such a good one!
Yeah. What does the fox say?
It's called Party Around the House by Mr. Fart. What was that again? Party Around the House by Mr. Fart.
I Want to Be a Hippie by Techno Head.
Save a horse, ride a cowboy.
I'm in a sorority. It comes with the territory.
Baby Shark. Built This Pool by Blink-182.
Family Ties by Kendrick Lamar. To whoever controls the profile picture for your YouTube channel, be better.
Hey, what's the silliest song you know? The silliest song I know. I was gonna say this funky little song called "The Soldier Poet King," but I think it's "Fruit Salad" by the Wiggles now. Yeah. Okay, last week, in the now defunct episode that we filmed last week, I said it was "Boom and Granny" by Beastie Boys. I've changed my mind. It's now "Cookie Puss" by Beastie Boys. And the B-side to that song, which is Beastie Revolution. Those are proper silly.
My Trains by Lemon Demon. A little song about someone who's obsessed with model trains and threatens to shrink down to the size of a model train and murder someone.
Trains by Lemon Demon.
Oh my god, he just said that! Romance. So that was our Eli Week edition of Jukebox on the Street. I've been Alexandria.
I've been Kit.
And we'll see you next week, if our equipment works.
Next segment, you will see me with a different haircut.
Welcome back to Jayhawk Jukebox. I'm Eli.
I'm Hayden.
And I'm Kit.
This week we're going to be talking about the 10th mixtape in the Hitler Wears Hermes series based off the Devil Wears Prada name from West Side Gun. It's called 10 on Spotify.
It's, they had to drop the name.
They did have to drop the name.
Why was that?
They didn't have to. It just.
Oh, they just did?
Yeah, they just did. It's a play on Devil Wears Prada.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's West Side
You
Gun
learned
wanted to
something
do. He wanted to do something that
Slay.
had like luxury, but still had the eye-catching appeal. This concludes the mixtape series. It also features a list of an ensemble cast of returning Griselda label mates, such as Conway the Machine, Benny the Butcher, Stove God Cooks, and more. It's got artists who have not been on Griselda records before, such as Run the Jewels, Killer Mike, and LP. It has Busta Rhymes, Raekwon and Ghostface Killah are on it, and more. It's probably his most mainstream appealing album while still managing to be super artistically invigorating. And Griselda just consistently puts out great stuff.
Yeah. They are the like boom bap makers of the day, basically.
Kind of.
I mean, obviously not just boom bap, but they're like the closest you can get to like really old school like boom bappy right now. At least on a bigger stage, it seems like, you know, like there's some of the ones who seem to have made it
mainstream.
Mainstream. If you call it mainstream,
They're
I might stop listening.
They're the mainstream of the underground.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But they're also more than boom bap. That's what I love about them is they don't just like harken back to like 90s Wu-Tang styles, but they like reinvented themselves.
RZA did produce a few beats though for this, right? I think I read that somewhere.
On this album?
I think so, yeah.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah. I don't know which ones, but
crazy.
that also could be misinformation. I was reading an article on Pitchfork, I think it was earlier, that was saying that. So.
Oh yeah, that's misinformation.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
What did we think of the track list?
So I did listen to the whole thing. to clarify, I'd never heard of this artist before.
She's more of an East Side knife guy.
Yep.
Girl.
Yeah, of course. But so I had never heard of them before, so I got that. I just got that now.
Good to know, Kit.
Delayed.
But I had never heard of them before, so this was my first time listening, and you had kind of enticed me by saying, what they sound like, who their influences are, kind of that kind of thing. So I, listened to it.
They aren't the Beastie Boys.
I know. But I went into it with an open mind. It's funny because I told my roommate that I was going to listen to this, and this is like more his style of music.
Sure.
So he didn't tell me at the time because he wanted me to have an open mind, but he told me last night when I told him that I listened to it that he's like, yeah, I didn't think you were going to like it.
Yeah.
And he was kind of right. Like, I didn't love it. There were some, I did write down a few songs I did like, but I don't know. I think a lot of it was kind of repetitive. I also said that West Side Gun's voice is kind of annoying to me.
That's a pretty common complaint.
And then I wrote
that's
specifically, and this is coming from someone who willingly listens to ad rock.
So the thing about it is it's like super nasally.
Yes.
Right? But it's also
high pitched.
So funny.
Yeah,
in my
like,
opinion. Like, the things that he's saying and his voice, it doesn't really work. Like,
Yeah.
which is what I like. I like the juxtaposition of that, of his voice being so like high and nasally and stuff like that, but he's
Yeah.
also putting like cocaine cowboy raps down.
Yeah.
In a sense, which I think is really sick.
To me, his voice, I actually completely agreed when I got into West Side Gun about 2 years ago, and it took me a long time because I was like, he raps slow, but he's not lyrically,
it also
he's
felt
not
really
lyrically
slow.
unique enough to be rapping slow.
Yep.
And his voice is high pitched and it doesn't fit the tone. But over time, it grew on me. I kept listening to him. West Side Gun has become one of my favorite rappers now. And more than a rapper, he's also a curator. There are several tracks on here where he's barely on it. He either just does the hook or he's not on it at all. And I think there's an appeal to that. He's kind of become like a modern Suge Knight where he curates artists in good ways and bad ways.
I was gonna say, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he has like a menacing aura. He creates.
He's a great ear for beats too.
He has an amazing ear for beats, and he has amazing connections that he puts on these beats. So people like Busta Rhymes and Raekwon and Ghostface are people he is able to know because he has a wide network of artists, and he's able to put them on beats they would never be on otherwise.
Yeah.
Griselda
He
beats
put
are like
Busta
a league
Rhymes,
of their own.
Raekwon, and Ghostface Kill on a track.
Yeah,
which
that
I think
was
is
one of
notable.
the-
I mean, I
that
know
was one of the
Raekwon and
songs that I
Ghostface all
picked.
like used to,
Yeah.
but like Busta Rhymes.
Busta Rhymes. So that was actually what drew me into it because I love Busta Rhymes. What was that?
I said, oh.
Oh, I love Busta Rhymes. I think his voice is really unique, and that's why I like him. I mean, I wouldn't say that I like listen to like anything that he does specifically, but I know that if he is on a song, I am going to enjoy it. Like Scenario by, Tribe Called Quest, that kind of stuff. So like I know that if he's on a song, it's gonna be good. And also the fact they got him to sing on this album. Which like any place that you can get Busta Rhymes of all people to sing, like it's gonna be good. And then obviously like Ghostface Killer, like Wu-Tang. I love
Wu-Tang
Wu-Tang.
fan?
I am a Wu-Tang fan. I love
Really?
Wu-Tang. Yeah, I know. You learn something new every day. See, I don't listen to just one artist.
Really?
Just mostly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
That's
mostly
fair.
one
That's
artist.
fair, though.
It's I do have my moments, so yeah.
Yeah. On top of what I said about him being a curator, I do think this is. If you didn't like his rapping on this, you probably shouldn't listen to his older mixtapes because this is probably him rapping in his best form.
Wasn't planning on it to be
That was
honest.
actually, that's
all
a
right.
really good segue. I was going to ask you how you would compare this to the first one.
Yeah, I don't think it's his best mixtape or album by far.
Sure.
But it's definitely his best rapping on any mixtape.
Are you in that camp of like people that say what was it? What Hermes 8? That's side A and side B that came out last year.
Yeah,
was
that's
it, or 2
that's
years
the best
ago?
one.
Yeah,
years
It's
ago.
so good.
Was
it's
it,
the
that
one
one has
that
Whoopi on it. Right?
Tyler's on
Whoopi or
it, Lil
something like
Wayne's
that.
on it,
Yeah.
bunch more. Again, the biggest draw to West Side Gun is he's a curator. Griselda is a growing record label with amazing rappers who, in my opinion, almost all outclass West Side Gun. And those artists are also still on this record. Stove God Cooks
Benny's
is a
only on there
frequent.
like once, right?
Benny and Conway are only on there for the outro posse cut,
That's
which
what
is
it is,
11
yeah.
minutes long.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But Stove God Cooks is on there a bunch. He's amazing. I think the track list has a few ups and downs, but overall it's pretty great and has a lot of mainstream appeal. I would give it a 9 personally because I'm a huge West Side Gun fan.
Yeah,
What would
I
you
would
give
probably give it like a 7. And I will say that my favorite song was Shootouts in Soho.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, A$AP Rocky kills on that.
Yep, exactly.
I'll probably go light 8 because I need to give it some more time. So
Yeah.
that's where I'm gonna go. And I think we're gonna get to a This Week in History here next with Eli and Chloe. So yeah, see you guys there.
Woohoo!
Okay, when asked about mental health in finals week, the first thing I think about was when I was told that your physical health and your mental health are just as important as one another. Some activities that I plan to partake in during finals week are things like exercising, sleeping extra, drinking lots of water, going to the park, just hanging out with my friends, and really making sure that I'm doing things that I enjoy.
Welcome back to This Week in History, where we'll be recounting events in music history from the past week. I'm Eli.
And I'm Chloe.
Annie Fried Lyngstad, typically known as Frida, from ABBA, was born on November 15, 1945. ABBA was Sweden's first winner of the Eurovision Song Contest with the song Waterloo in 1974. ABBA are one of the best-selling music artists of all time, with their music being adapted into the stage musical and movie duology Mamma Mia. A digital avatar or hologram concert residency opened in London in May of this year called ABBA Voyage.
Bill Gibson from Huey Lewis and the News was born on November 13, 1951. The band had the 1985 single, The Power of Love. Their third album, Sports, was their best-selling, and they also contributed to the soundtrack to Back to the Future.
In 1963, the headmaster of a grammar school in England banned all students from having haircuts like the Beatles, saying, "This ridiculous style brings out the worst in boys physically. It makes them look like morons."
Joseph Run Simmons was born on November 14, 1966. He was one of the founding members of the influential hip-hop group Run DMC, who had Walk This Way with Aerosmith in 1986, and It's Like That in 1984. He was also a practicing minister known as Reverend Run.
The rapper ODB's birthday and anniversary of his death are this week. Born on November 15, 1968, he was a founding member of the Wu-Tang Clan in the early 90s. They had the 1997 #1 album Wu-Tang Forever. On November 13, 2004, he died after collapsing in a recording studio at the age of 35.
Travis Barker was born on November 14, 1975. He is the drummer of Blink-182, who had All the Small Things in 2000 and 2001's album Take Off Your...
In 1987, George Michael went to #1 with his debut solo album, Faith. The album won several awards, including a Grammy for Album of the Year. To date, the album has sold over 20 million copies worldwide.
Rapper and record producer Bobby Ray Simmons Jr., or B.O.B., was born on November 15, 1988. B.O.B. rose to fame after his 2009 debut single, Nothing on You, reached #1 in multiple countries.
In 2003, a 21-year-old Britney Spears became the youngest singer to get a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
In 2007, Jay-Z reached #1 with American Gangster, his 10th #1 album. This made him tied for second with Elvis Presley for the most #1 albums on the chart. Only the Beatles have had more with 19.
That's all for Jayhawk Jukebox this week. Tune in again in 2 weeks at 4:30 and follow us on Instagram and TikTok at JayhawkJukebox and on Twitter at JayhawkJukebox on Jayhawk_Jukebox.
Have a great Thanksgiving break, Jayhawks.